Good morning, y'all, and welcome back to Apron Strings. It's good to be back in the kitchen doing what I love to do, and that's cooking and eating. Today I'm going to make another Tex-Mex dish, and it's pretty quick and easy, and I think y'all will like it. It's Frito pie casserole. It's Frito pie jazzed up a little bit, and it's very yummy, and it's going to be quick. So we're going to get over to the stove and brown some hamburger meat and wilt down some onions, and then we'll get to the rest of it. So y'all come on over to the stove right around the butcher block and we'll get it going. Then we'll have us a good casserole to eat after a while. Okay, I've got my onions, and I've got 4 little bitty scrunchy garlic cloves minced. And I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in the skillet, and I'm going to wilt the onions down first. Then I'm going to add my hamburger and cook it. So I think y'all can see over here. I think you know how to put olive oil in the skillet and put you some onions in there. And it's fixing to smell pretty, because it always does when you start putting onions on the fire. I am struggling with what to make on videos because my husband has no appetite whatsoever anymore. He'll say nothing sounds good. Troy has lost from about 250 pounds down to 195 in 6 months, and he hasn't tried. It's just he has no appetite, and I'm used to him eating everything but the kitchen sink, so that's been hard for me. But I like Frito pie, so I'll eat some of this and freeze some of it if nobody comes by to eat it. Troy is on a different medicine trying to relieve the pressure in his lungs, and we don't go back to see the doctor until July, so I guess they want to give it plenty of time to see if it helps. But again, he can't get on the transplant list unless the pressure in his lungs come down. And it's not his air capacity that's wrong, it's the blood vessels in his lungs. And on another note, I've mentioned my son-in-law with the pancreatic cancer. They went in Friday to do the Whipple procedure, and they sewed him back up. His cancer is contained, but the tumor is too large to do surgery. The stomach and pancreas have grown together. There's a vein intertwined in it. A lot of stuff, a lot of negatives, and they just wouldn't touch it. I don't know what the next step will be for him. He's still in the hospital, and we are just trusting the good Lord. That's all we know to do. So I'm going to get this casserole in the oven, and I'm going to play like I don't have a worry in the world, and I'm going to sit down and eat me some of this Mexican food and enjoy a few minutes here before long. So I hate to mention this, and one girl who has a YouTube channel told me I didn't need to share personal stuff, but you know what? A heck of a whole lot of y'all are personal friends and family, and a bunch more of you are like family now because we've corresponded through email and text, and you've bought aprons and we visited, and I just feel like that it's the thing I want to do. We are a family on Apron Strings. So keep us in your prayers. It's not an easy road to walk. It has a lot of rocks that hurt your feet. But there's a scripture that says, "Rejoice not against me, O mine enemies, when I fall, I shall arise." And that's where we're at. We're walking. We may fall down, but we're going to get back up because we're holding on to an unchanging hand. So I'm going to get the onions sweated down, get the meat in there and brown it, and then I'll bring y'all over to the stove to get a sneak peek at that, and then we'll get the rest of it done. I'm going to run over there and start preheating my June oven and get ready to put this in the oven. Got the onions in my scan pan, and by the way, that is a sweet Vidalia onion. I told y'all they got them in at Costco, and I bought me 20 pounds of them, and when I get one of those pounds, 20-pound bags empty, I will get me another one so I'll be stocked up because they won't have them long. But anyhow, when these wilt, I'll add the meat and get it browned. Then I'll add the garlic at the end. Okay, I've got the onions pretty well sweated down. If I don't quit tasting of those Fritos, I'm not going to be hungry, but I like them. I'm going to put my garlic in, and just for a minute or two, I'm going to let it cook. Technically, when you can start smelling the garlic fragrance, it's ready. Because if you cook it too long, it gets bitter. Now, by adding the meat in, it's going to slow down the, you know, the overcooking process of the garlic. So I'm going to grab my meat and I'm going to get it in there and let it start browning. And I've got about a pound of meat here. And most of the time I buy 80-20 because I like that. Ooh, that garlic smells good. I like that little bit of fat in it. It just adds more flavor. So let me get this broke up, and I love this scan pan because if I decide to use a metal utensil, it doesn't scar it. But right now I'll just use my wood. If y'all have never had scan pan, and I'm not affiliated and I don't get a dime from talking about them, but start out with a small one and just see how wonderful they are, and then watch for the sales. I get mine at Sur La Table, and you'll find out you want more. They're not like Tefal and all the other old non-stick stuff. It's just a different process that they're made by, and in Denmark more stringent rules apply. They can't have anything that's going to flake off in your food, so they're made very well. I'm just going to let this go ahead, and I'm not putting a bunch of seasoning in it right now because it has a package of taco mix that's going to go in. So we'll just let this do its thing, Jane, right now, and be back in a minute to tell you what we're going to do next. Okay, I got my taco mix in there. I'll get it blended in really well, and then we'll get it in the pan and get it in the oven. Sure does smell pretty, and it looks pretty. Now, if you had some cilantro and you want to chop that up in it, you could do that. I've got some out in my little herb garden, but I'm not going out in the dampness to get it. It's like we've had a Texas monsoon around here. It's terrible. Everything is just soaking wet and more rain coming. Okay, I'm going to let this simmer just a snitch, then I'm going to get back over to the butcher block and we'll get it all put together. I'm going to spray my dish. And this is olive oil spray. You can use whatever kind of kitchen spray you want. We're going to put some, I'm going to get my cheese. We're going to put some Fritos on the bottom. I'm going to crumble them up just a little bit. And that's just corn chips if y'all don't have the Fritos brand where you're at. And I'm going to put some cheese. And this is Kobe Jack. You can use the Mexican 5-blend cheddar, whatever you want. I'm just going to use one of my big spoons and spoon some of the meat mixture in. And then of course we'll put some more cheese. This is very hearty because it had a lot of meat in it. Now another thing you can do for variation, you could use a can of hominy. And a lot of your Mexican food will have hominy. But I just went by the recipe for y'all. Well, can y'all guess what I might have added when you wasn't watching? Yeah, a little bit of onion and garlic powder. But I didn't put any salt because we didn't want it too salty. Because the taco mix was well seasoned. That's all the seasoning you really need. Except, you know, I always add my extra onion and garlic. Get this out of the way. I'm going to add a little bit more cheese, and then I'm going to crumble some Fritos, and then I'm going to add a little bit more cheese. And because everything in here is cooked, when the top of it is bubbly and looks done, it's ready. This would be a good casserole to have at a graduation party this weekend or whenever y'all's stuff is. A little bit more cheese to tell us it's all goopy and melted. Alright, I'm going to get this over there in the oven that I preheated to 350, and I'm just going to let it all, I don't want that onion skin in there. Let it get melted and brown just a snitch, and then we'll be back. And okay, y'all, it's melting, but it's not ready yet. But I was just going to show you. It's in a hot spot. Okay, I got the pretty thing out of the oven, and I put a few pickled jalapenos on the top and some fresh chopped tomatoes. And if y'all have never bought Campari cocktail tomatoes, I know Kroger carries them, but Costco and Sam's carry them, and they're a whole lot cheaper there. But in the dead of winter, they taste as near to a fresh tomato as you're going to get. And it isn't winter here, but I don't have any fresh tomatoes yet, so I bought Camparis. Let me get one and show you what size they are. They're not the teensy-weensy ones, but they're about like a golf ball to smaller. Sometimes they'll be smaller, but oh my goodness, they're wonderful. So I chopped a few of those up, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of unmelted cheese on the top to be pretty and get me a picture, and then I'm going to dish some up and I'll show you how I'm going to serve it. Okay, I wanted to show y'all where I took a helping of it out. You can see the corn and the tomatoes, and it's pretty. And then I'll show y'all over here how I've served it. I just scooped it out and put it on a bed of shredded lettuce, and then I topped it with some of the chopped tomatoes, a little bit more cheese, and a couple of jalapenos. We're fixing to sit down and have lunch. I want to thank y'all so much for coming in the kitchen today and watching me make this casserole. I hope it's something that's got your taste buds wanting some of it. It's very good, and it's quick and easy. Y'all saw how it came together. Kind of semi-homemade because we used some canned stuff in it. You could use your own canned tomatoes and beans and really make it homemade. But I didn't do that today. I'm trying to get a video uploaded where y'all know I'm still alive and well and over here waving at you because it's been a hectic week for us. We're gonna, Troy's in here at the table waiting, so we fix to sit down and have lunch. And if this is your first time here, I'm so glad you're here. I hope you'll subscribe and come back, because usually I do 3 videos a week. It's been a little unusual lately due to family illness, but I'm gonna get back on track. So y'all just stick around, hit that little thumbs up if you like it, that makes me feel real good, and hit that bell so you'll be notified when I do upload, because it's usually Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, but just in case I'm a day or 2 late, they'll notify you and let you know. The good Lord bless and keep y'all, and I'll see you again in a day or 2.